Hello, everybody. This is the Anime Bro here, and welcome to another episode of the Radio Trigger Podcast. I am with my co-host today, Tony Odd Lion. Sadly, Tensa couldn't be here because of scheduling, and today we have a special guest, Augie. You want to introduce yourself?
How's it going, everybody? My name is Augie. I just got to say that I think the name for Radio Trigger was like something that my boys and I like were thinking of a name, and I think something really close to like your guys' name is something like we popped up on like our just one of the names you were trying to pick, which is kind of funny. But yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Yeah. What are some things you like doing? Some hobbies and stuff.
Do we want to get into like just outside of YouTube or like outside in like real life, or how do you want to go about this?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
If you want to talk about
anything, just really.
I guess I'll just go about like what I kind of do outside of it and kind of like how that merges in with my YouTube life in terms of my hobbies and stuff, because YouTube is definitely a hobby. It's nothing like full, I can't really sustain a job from it right now, which would be cool later on down the line, but it's also something I don't really see that I want to do later on down the line. It's kind of just for fun right now. Surprisingly enough, I actually live on the West Coast, and I grew up in the West Coast, and completely opposite from like the online life. I kind of just I surf and I skate, kind of just the beach life of it. Those are like the biggest things I love to do is surf and skate. I mean, obviously going to the beach and reading manga, that was like a big thing growing up for me. Just like instead of reading like a newspaper or anything, I'd actually go to my local like comic book store, but instead of getting comics, because I've barely read any comics in my life, I would just get manga because I've always loved anime growing up. My older brother got me into it, so I just wanted to get into it from a really early age. The first manga I had ever read was Attack on Titan, and that's because of the first season back in like 2013. I read that, and I initially just got really interested in everything manga related. After that, I went on to One Piece and just everything further on. I think those are like the biggest things. Another thing I'm really into, I'm just honestly into everything pop culture related, anything pop culture media. When it comes to music, when it comes to movies, film, television, all that stuff, I'm pretty much into. It doesn't really matter the demographic of it. I can kind of find a way to like something just and appreciating it for the craft like they do in their specific media. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. I'm kind of open to everything.
Nice. I'm also like that. I'm open to a lot of stuff. So, I guess in terms of like movies and stuff, have you seen like the popular stuff? Like, I guess like John Wick, and then some. I'm trying to remember some. Like, I'm guessing you also like watch like Star Wars and whatnot.
Yeah. So Star Wars is definitely up there, one of my favorites of all time. Of course, like recently, the Marvel movies have been fun to watch. I mean, they haven't been the best, but they've definitely been a fun watch. I've definitely been getting a lot more invested into it just because of the setup for like the future of Marvel and like Secret Wars and the next Avengers movies. Star Wars has always just been a big part of my life too, just growing up way before Marvel was. My favorite trilogy of all time is The Lord of the Rings. I think Middle Earth, anything Middle Earth related is like really cool. That's kind of like a big design choice from my OC as well. Like that dark fantasy, just fantasy like kind of aesthetic. So I did take a lot of inspiration from The Lord of the Rings when it came to that. Of course, like other things like Berserk and Final Fantasy as well, but Lord of the Rings is kind of what stemmed it all.
Yeah, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan as well. I grew up with the movies. Like it was in my family, especially when it came to my mother's siblings. They read a lot, and Lord of the Rings was one of them. And so most of the time, Lord of the Rings seemed like, even though I was like 1 or 2 years old, it was like the movie that they would just put on, and I remember enjoying the whole like trilogy. Especially some of the battles are really amazing, like Battle of Helm's Deep, one of the best battles of all time, and even like in the Battle of Minas Tirith, that was a really great battle itself. just it was a really amazing film, and even to this day, I think it's like
It holds up for sure. It's the best.
Yeah,
In my personal opinion, it is the best trilogy of all time when it comes to movies. I mean, the Godfather trilogy, and just like there's a bunch of other trilogies that are really, really good. It's just something that kind of hits home and kind of like the taste I really like lean towards. Lord of the Rings definitely has it for me, and I can watch that trilogy anytime, anywhere. Like it doesn't matter. I love that series so much.
Yeah, it's definitely the best, in my opinion.
Bro,
have you seen it, Lion?
Rins?
Have you seen it?
No,
Yeah.
not at all, man.
Oh, man, that's a series you should definitely
I'm not
watch it.
the biggest on watching movies because I like watching series more because there's like more time for the show to like expand and like character development and like just overall.
Yeah.
So
kind of like an anime and manga series. Like you kind of just get to live with it a little bit more than a movie.
Yeah.
Movies are kind of short term unless they're like Marvel or something where it's like a big ass phase where I don't know. Sorry if I can't cuss on you, but it just keeps going on and on. I think. Dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. But Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite things of all time for sure. Definitely like inspired my OC. Star Wars as well, and I'm actually working on a video where kind of deep diving into a lot of my favorite series and kind of what they've been inspired from, and you'd actually be surprised within the manga and like anime and film industry, like TV, all that stuff, they all kind of coexist within each other. A lot of creators just kind of steal from one another and kind of put it to their own series. My Hero Academia is a big example of that. Like, for example, Star Wars is a big influence for Horikoshi. I don't know if you guys are My Hero fans. I'm only familiar with Tensa on here. I mean, I've heard of you guys briefly before, but he's like the only one I've like seen around on like Twitter and stuff like that. Kind of like the hub world for all of us creators.
He has like 2,000 followers. So like 60, 70.
Yeah.
So.
But My Hero, big influence from influence for all those other series, and that just kind of coexists with pretty much every other series out there. They all have something to take from one another, and it's really cool to see that. I'd also like to say that like television, I honestly what was your favorite show? Like what do you like to watch? Because you said you like to watch longer series, like longer running series.
like live action stuff.
Yeah. You can go into live action, or you can go into anime, or whatever you want.
Well, when it comes to anime, I do typically watch more like slice of life, psychological anime.
Okay.
Live action, jeez. I mean, some of my favorites are Lucifer.
Okay.
Goblin, the Great and Lonely God, I believe it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what else. What else?
Am I safe to assume you guys are most familiar? I mean, clearly your name's the Anime Bro, but like safe to say that like you guys are mainly influenced by anime. You guys talk about anime. That's like how you guys all kind of met together.
Yeah.
Okay, so
kind of. How we kind of met was Lion messaged me one day. It was like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" I'm like, sure.
I never spoke to a guy before. I was just like, "Yeah, why not? Let's ask."
Yeah. And same thing with Tenza. He was like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" Me and Tenza, because he did collab on my channel, but before then, we never actually talked to each other.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know who he was until he messaged me that day.
That's interesting.
So it was like
most people kind of have
so
an established relationship before they start, but that's cool that like just seeing people. I'm assuming you guys message each other through like Twitter or Discord or something.
Yeah, we use this Discord to message each other every day.
It was definitely a really slow start before we actually started, like, I guess, like, connecting. it took a while.
Yeah. I'd kind of say that
now
like,
we can make fun of each other.
Not just myself, but literally like kind of anybody around the same range as me when it comes to asking someone to be on a podcast. Most of the time, people will probably say yeah. So like, anytime anyone asks me. It's probably bad to say like out loud now, but like anytime anyone asks me to be on a collab or like or a video or like a podcast or anything, like most of the time I say yes unless I got something going on. So, and I think a lot of the times people are kind of intimidated by some people's numbers or some people's like stats or whatever. I just personally, I'm really close friends with the Masked Man, and he's also on my podcast. And he kind of tells me all the time that like he feels just like one of us. Like he feels like, and I still feel like I'm like really, really small, but he also kind of feels that way when he's like a lot bigger. And it's kind of just like, it doesn't feel like the numbers really matter unless you get to like, you know, like the 1 million plus range where you're getting like sponsorships, like, and you're getting flown out to these things. Like that's when it starts getting amped up. But like, most of the time when people aren't like, we all talk about like anime and manga, so we know we don't do anything else outside of life, but but most of the time people will say yeah, and I appreciate that you guys reached out to ask me to come on because I love doing this kind of stuff. I really do.
Yeah. Oh my!
Lion doesn't really care. Like how his system goes is like, hey, this would be a good person. You ask them, and if they say yes, there we go. We got our episode.
I messaged so many people.
Yeah. Probably messaged someone from Trash Taste.
No, there's like a limit before I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna message them. there's like a limit when it comes to like subscribers.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Because I feel like if it's like, you know, like 40, 50k subs and like up, it's like most likely they'll say yes. But I feel like if you get to like a few 100k, it's like maybe not.
You're pushing it a little bit. You're pushing it. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah. Well, what are some? You mentioned you like to watch like Slice of Life and Psychological. Like, what are your favorites? Give me like a deep dive on both your guys' kind of like your top 5 in a sense, so I can kind of get a feel for your taste.
Geez.
Do you like Higurashi?
I've never seen it.
Oh.
Okay, that yeah, sure.
That's lines top 5. Like that. Okay. That's.
Do you have like an Andy list or my anime list I can look on the side while we continue to speak?
I do.
Oh, I do. And I did. Well, I do. It's just I never.
You never update it? Yeah, I use Andy list like kind of religiously. So like,
I used to when I was making random videos on like random anime because I was like, this is like a video game. Like I can say I've done this, but. Lately, it's like there's a lot. There's a lot in.
What do you both typically make content on at the moment?
Well, right now I'm reading the Mushoku Tensei light novel.
Okay.
So I'm on volume 8. I got a long ways to go. I'm on videos. I have recently released volume 5. So
is it like a volume review of Mushoku Tensei?
Yeah, reviewing every volume.
I've only seen the anime for Mushoku Tensei, but I'm actually not a fan of the isekai genre, like just overall in general. But I think Mushoku Tensei is great. I actually really enjoyed Mushoku Tensei. Kind of a hot take, and I've mentioned this in one of my videos previously in like the past, but. I know like one of the biggest isekais out there is ReZero, and like I kind of just I don't like it.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people hate on me for that.
I actually agree. Yeah. I think it's overrated.
But again, I haven't got farther than the second season, so I mean, I gave it a chance, but maybe I should give it a chance later.
Right. I just watched the first season and I was like, I'm good. But like I recently finished watching Monster.
Ooh, Monster is phenomenal. I love Monster.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird because I have like this like love-hate relationship with it.
Oh, really? Interesting. Is it because of the ending, or is it because of just you thought differently because of the hype between what people have been saying about this series, and it kind of just like a slow burn?
It's those 3 things, yeah. Because like the hype for this, the love for this was crazy. So I was going into it like, this is gonna be V-based, and you know it's definitely up there. But the 2 things I had a problem with was with Johan getting shot in the head, right? He got shot twice. I'm like, Uh, can he survive this? Don't know about that one. It might be like a stupid reason, but like this show is a bit more like realistic. So I was like, okay. And then
Well, there have been cases of people, and this is in like real life. Like this is not just in anime and manga, but like there have been cases where people have been shot and they can get through. Like it just depends how far the bullet goes, and obviously for Kento Tenma being like a neurosurgeon, he's able to. If they're not dead, they're not dead. But I get like the plot armor with it. But again, it's also an anime and a manga. No one's gonna be as well. Maybe there probably is some really scary people out there that are like Johan, but I don't want to meet them at all.
Yeah, but the main thing is the ending.
The ending. So was it kind of the ending is for a lot of people. It's kind of like a what's the word? Like a bittersweet kind of, or not a bittersweet, but like a bitter. It's like bitter in a sense, where it's for spoilers from Monster Head. I mean, we kind of been talking about it, but like the ending is kind of like a cycle, and it's like a never-ending kind of cycle. And I guess that's where you kind of didn't. And I mean, at first when I first watched the series, then I read it, and I was a little pissed off at first, but then I could kind of come to an understanding on why this makes sense, both for Johan and Kento Tenma's ideologies and how they work as people. And I think it's just like Tenma's soft heart at whole. Like he wasn't able to do the things he was like throughout the entire journey. He wanted to kill Johan, but he was never able to do that because of the person he is. And I guess the ending just shows like that kind of keeps true to his character. And it's just depending on the way you look at it, because obviously after all that trouble, it's like you wouldn't like leave this man's sight. But
and then it's like Johan like escaped from the hospital, and it's like, okay, well, now what?
Yeah, it's just gonna happen again. He's just gonna continue to do his thing. But maybe it might be, well, that's just up for the audience too. Naoki Urasawa was very with his endings with like Pluto and with Billy Bat and just other series he's done. I actually haven't read 20th Century Boys, but his other works are very, very similar in that sense, where it's kind of left to the reader to interpret how you want to go from the ending. And that also can be like said for something like Astro Boy. For example, Pluto's getting an anime, and a lot of people have been talking about that recently. But if you don't know, Pluto's actually like a side story kind of off of what's his name? The guy who made Astro Boy. I don't know his name right now. I'm blanking out, but Tezuka. And he asked him like if I can make a side story going further, kind of like a mystery thriller. That's what he's known for, and they kind of work together. And it's just like from the ending of Astro Boy, you can kind of it was Urasawa's vision to basically craft a entirely new story further on. That's kind of what he did. He basically applied what you would think in your brain on how this would go, but onto a whole entire new story, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how he does things. I'm looking through some of your stuff. I'm trying to see if you guys like have like a super hot take that I could like
there's gonna be a few
disagree with or something.
There's gonna be a few.
I mean, there's certain ones in here like Bleach is a 7. I mean, if you're watching the anime, I can understand why Bleach is a 7. Demon Slayer 8 over Bleach.
Oh, this is old Bleach.
That's it.
So
this is the Anime Bros list currently.
Oh yeah, this man. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this.
My Hero's a 5.
Oh jeez.
The anime, the first season. Okay. Naruto's a 5. Wow. Interesting.
This man thinks Boruto is better than Naruto as well.
Whoa, really? You're trolling.
I kind of just do it. Yeah, I'm trolling.
Okay, you're trolling. Okay, I was about to say.
Well, the thing is, I tell people I don't really care, so I troll because I know
The
it's
Promised
bring
Neverland
out
being a
something.
10 is a huge W. I love The Promised Neverland.
I like the first season.
The first season is
Second
phenomenal,
season.
but the second season's horrible
Yeah.
just because they rushed it.
Yeah, I thought the first season was like how they ended it. I was like, I'm actually pretty satisfied. This was actually a perfect ending to a season. And then afterwards, when I heard like how like the second part of the like the manga was, and like how it wasn't that good, I was like, actually, I'm trying to find just ending it off of the first season because that was in my mind a great ending. I didn't need to really watch more.
And Seal X12, that's yours, Lad?
Yeah, it's mine.
Okay, this is your list. Okay, gotcha. You gave a comment, got killed at 2. I don't blame you. A 2. Wow. I mean that like yeah, it's just a 2 is kind of low, but I see your reasoning for it.
Yeah, I love these are like old ratings, but yeah.
Oh, like really old ratings. I got you. What's like what's both your top 3 off the top of your head? Like it can be anime and manga combined, or in light novels. If you want to throw that in there.
Anime, it would be JoJo's, Persona 4, and okay, I don't know the third one, but those 2 would definitely be on there. Oh, I guess Attack on Titan wouldn't be number 3. I like the Attack on Titan anime.
Okay.
I would put. I'm gonna have to put Monster top there because I love the soundtrack for it.
The score, yeah, the soundtrack's great.
So Monster, a sound voice, and
That's interesting that you would put that in your top 3, considering you just said that the ending conflicted your opinion.
Yeah.
I did have I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's top 3.
That's me with Rent a
what's your-
Girlfriend. Everybody hates Rent a Girlfriend, but I can see the appreciation for the series in the manga before he did what he did, when that whole controversy was coming around.
Right. I mean,
But that's just me.
the third place, it's between Bleach or Monogatari series.
The Monogatari series for me has been such a strange ride. Like I'm only on the second half of the second season, so I only got through like the first kind of core. With the Nise Monogatari being the most weird, and like the Kizu Monogatari movies being some of like my favorite.
Yeah.
That series just kind of, for me, it's like really hard to follow, and like you really got to pay attention and really like sit down, and you can't just take breaks, otherwise you're just gonna like have trouble remembering. At least that's how it was for me, because I had to restart it like twice, and I can see the appreciation for this and why a lot of people really love the series. It's just I want to love it so much, it's just maybe it's not the right time for me to watch it. Because I really do like the whole aesthetic and the whole premise and the whole just the character driven story with Araragi and just every single one of the female characters. Like they're all really great. It's hard for me to push through at the moment, and that's kind of like where I stand on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. Like, 'cause I've seen a lot, so I don't know. I would really say it's like top of there. There's a lot of things I love. But yeah, I mean, Bleach has to be there.
Bleach is great. I just actually recently went to a like it's not a bookstore or a manga store kind of near me, but it kind of sells a lot of old retro stuff that you would also see in like Japan, and like you can like get the weekly Shonen Jump magazines from this store, which is pretty cool. And they sell manga, games, and just figures and whatnot. But I got actually the first box set for Bleach for like $100 US, which on retail and everything else where it's selling for is like double, or like it's like $200, which is pretty cool.
Jeez. Yeah, that's
So I actually got a big deal on that recently.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, what else do I mean, Lucky Star was kind of good.
I haven't seen Lucky Star, so I don't know. I just know it's very, very popular.
Yeah, but it's like it's also just like slice of life, so it's kind of a
Slice of, I have appreciation for a lot of slice of lives. It really just depends. I enjoyed again, my slice of life taste is kind of weird because earlier I said I like Rent a Girlfriend, whereas a lot of people would look at me like what the hell is wrong with this guy? I like Hyoka. Hyoka's great.
Oh yeah.
Horimiya is great. Horimiya, K-On! I haven't seen. I just know a lot of people talk about it. Another series that I think a lot of people really, really love that I just am not the biggest fan of is the Kaguya-sama series.
Oh.
I'm actually not the biggest fan of that, where a lot of people would be like, this is like peak. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Again, like the Monogatari series I already talked about. A lot of the basic ones, like Money Girl Senpai, I wasn't a fan of. Toradora wasn't a fan of. Like it really, a lot of the slice of lives are really hit or miss for me. I'm more into the psychological thriller kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
My top 3 is One Piece, AOT, and Berserk. Pretty much in that order. Just because AOT, like I mentioned earlier, it's been like a series since I kind of like started my journey with manga. So I really just have like a really big appreciation for that series. One Piece is like the longest running series I've read. Not that that makes it the best, but to me, I have a really like big appreciation for series that can keep me on for that long. And for One Piece, it's like 1,000 running chapters, which I do need to get on Ippo because I know that's like 1,300 chapters, but I really appreciate One Piece for all the right reasons. I think a lot of people else do. Berserk was the most recent series I had gotten into, which was back in when quarantine was happening, like early quarantine. So I had read that and immediately fell in love with that series just because, again, I really love kind of like that fantasy type of world. Anything with fantasy related, like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, Lord of the Rings, dark fantasy, just fantasy in general, I really, really like. And that was super easy for me to catch on to the series from the jump because I really like that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fantasy guy too. I really like a lot of fantasy.
But I don't know what it's been with our,
which is
with like the past 3 games, but it's always like Lord of the Rings. It's always like Dark Souls stuff. If Tenso is here, he'll be getting crazy.
Oh, you gave sorry to interrupt you. You gave Hunter x Hunter a 5?
I did.
Line?
Yeah, I know.
Is that old or is that still like you feel the same about that?
Well, if I drop a series, then to me that's kind of like, it's like 5.
Oh wow!
So
you dropped it.
Yeah, I didn't get that far into. I got maybe like 20 episodes. And I don't know. It's just
okay. So it's like if you're like One Piece. It's like if you're 20 episodes into One Piece. It's like I understand why you would drop the series, like, and give it a 5.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. But
not given last time I tried.
I find it hard for people.
You can go.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Given last time I did try and watch Hunter x Hunter was like maybe like 2-3 years ago. So maybe I could possibly sit through it. After I sat through Monster.
I mean, but that's also something you said you were really interested in. You like that kind of genre. Whereas Hunter x Hunter, I guess, like... And honestly, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like when it comes to any series, because for me, like, Full Metal Alchemist being on the top of Mal, everybody loves Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I actually... I don't see it more than like a 7.5, where a lot of people would, again... My takes have just been like... It's either like really kind of like, okay, that makes sense kind of take, or just like a really outlandish kind of take. And when I tell people like Full Metal is like not a 10 out of 10, I like, they call me crazy.
I mean, it's like...
But my
You can go.
Okay, my point is that like, I think it really just depends on the time and place when you watch a series or read a series.
Yeah.
That can like really depend on, or really like impact your opinion. And I just think that plays a big factor into like how people view series, just depending on the place and time of one. But go ahead, what were you saying?
I mean, because I feel like back then I was like probably just a bit more like impatient when it came down to like sitting down with series, because last year I read like all of One Piece up until Whole Cake Island.
Mhm.
So I thought if I can do that, then maybe I can get into Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, I really wish. I mean, I could reread One Piece, and I've watched it twice and I've read it once, but which is crazy. Yes, I know, but it's been a long time. Like, I started the series back in 2012, and I caught up to the manga, or I caught up to the anime, then I caught up to the manga back when it was serializing in Punk Hazard, which was in like early 2013 kind of area. So like it's been literally 10 years since like I've been reading this stuff. So it's like I've had a lot of time to like sit and go back with the series. And considering it is my favorite series of all time, like it makes sense that I would only go back and rewatch some of my favorite moments and just the series in general.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you guys watching right now? Maybe currently that's serializing anything on like for me it's Blue Lock. Blue Lock is like something I like really have been waiting every single week to watch.
Oh,
jeez.
I'm not really watching anything. I watched Spy X Family.
Oh Lord.
Really like I really like the music in that.
Spy Family is a good soundtrack, yeah.
I like music in that. I've mostly just been reading because I'm trying to make videos and stuff. So.
Other than Mashoko, what have you been reading?
One Piece, and Mission
Yozakura Family.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a series I look forward to. And I think the Four Horsemen, the sequel to Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh, how is that? I'm not a big fan of Seven Deadly Sins. I heard the ending was kind of meh. I just don't really like the series overall.
Yeah. My opinion, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually like this over the Seven Deadly Sins, especially because the main character, I didn't like Meliodas at all. Like, even his backstory and all that stuff, it was like, no, like what he is now. It's like I don't see the connection at all. Like he's a demon and all that, but he's also a pervert. It's like where did the connection go there?
Understandable.
I had other characters. I had other characters that were a lot better in Seven Deadly Sins. It's just I didn't like Meliodas. And then when I read the sequel, the guy he wasn't my favorite character, but he was a bit better. He was a better character in my opinion than Meliodas.
Are we talking about the main character in that which is like his son, right?
No,
it's his son.
It's not his son. It's someone else. Like he was he's the son of a holy knight.
Okay.
And he has no connection to Meliodas whatsoever. He's just some random kid who was destined to be one of the Four Horsemen, which was supposed to.
Doesn't he have a kid though?
Yeah, he does have a kid named Tristan, but he wasn't introduced until way later in the manga.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Seven Deadly Sins again. Like it's been a pretty okay series for me. Back when I like originally watched it and read it, I mean, the only characters I really really enjoyed were like Bon and Escanor and sometimes Meliodas. But it's usually just like the series for me was just it was just okay. Like I didn't really like it or dislike it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You like this new series better than the original Seven Deadly Sins?
Yeah, I like it because like I said, the main character was the thing. That's what kind of turned me off. Like I finished.
Let me ask you
reading.
this real quick because this is kind of funny to me. Just because we talked about the monster situation being in his top 3, but like you have the whole thing about this was being a pedophile or like a kind of like not a pedophile but like a perv.
Yeah.
And isn't that kind of like Well, no, that's different because Mashoko, he's an actual pedophile.
Well, the other thing is,
What's
I
your opinion on that? Because like I know a lot of people don't like the series just because of that.
No, okay, so even though I'm reading this, I got to be clear. I'm reading it for the views. I'm doing it for the views, okay? That was mostly the reason why I picked it up. Because a lot of people said they liked it. And there was apparently differences in the anime. Mm-hmm. So I watched the anime. I was like, I hate this guy. Why the heck is this the main character? And what's with... my biggest question was, what's with Japan and having main characters as perverts? That was the biggest thing. Because, seriously, that's like almost... I guess now... the biggest trope, kind of. So I read it to see the difference. There was some differences, but the differences weren't good differences. They were actually pretty bad differences. Like, Rudius was a lot worse in the manga. In fact, one of my favorite volumes was volume 7, but that was because he talked less about sex.
Oh, there's a manga. I thought it was just a light novel and an anime.
It was it was a web novel. Then they did a light novel, and then they did a manga, and then they did the anime. Apparently, a lot of people said the manga was trash. That's actually how I originally read Mushoku Tensei. So then I eventually gave the light novel a try, and it's a bit better than the manga. Mm-hmm. The light novel puts... The thing about the light novel that I like is it gives the different perspectives of a lot of people. So I wasn't just getting Rudius's mindset. I was also getting like his father's, the maid, his mother's, even Eris. So it was a lot of people. You get to see the mindset of this instead of worrying about Rudius. Which I will tell you, if I just had to read what Rudius was thinking this whole time, I would have said this was like the worst series ever because the main character was someone I did not like. But because we get the different perspectives, it's like, okay, this is a bit more interesting. We're not honestly talking... This guy literally talks about sex like we talk about anime. Like, it's like a normal thing for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, seriously, dude. Like, we're like, he's on a boat, and then he's talking about, like, one girl getting... taken by an octopus and all that anti stuff, and it's like
right
it's like and it's like, dude, we're riding a boat. Can you like not think about this like now? It's just like, come on.
I mean, I like the show. I do.
I enjoyed Mushoku from the anime. I think the world is a big thing that I take appreciation for is worlds, just in overall media. I think Mushoku's world and like how, especially in the intro sequences, because it's not like an actual intro. It kind of is just like it shows like the world and where they're at, and the way they express like their world and like just the different areas during the intro sequence is something that I take a huge appreciation for.
Yeah, the one thing I do like though, I am a big guy in world building too, and the one thing about the Mushoku Tensei series that I like. I'm in volume 8, but we visit a lot of locations in just the 8 volumes. So it's like in my videos, I have a different location that they're in. Some of the locations I can go into detail, but then some of them, like the recent volume 6, I totally forgot what was in there because we get like what it is, but we don't get much of like what else is very known for and stuff like that. It does have like a currency, and I know people talk about like how the languages that they made up make the world a bit bigger.
No, yeah, I definitely think that plays a factor into like everything, like any small miscellaneous kind of thing that they can add to a story that just is minor, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be. I mean, the language is minor, but like anything that can go into that kind of stuff is really like. I take a big appreciation for, and I think that stuff is really cool, and that's also a big reason why I really love Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah. I actually did a video on comparing Mushoku Tensei to Lord of the Rings. Didn't do too well, though.
Yeah, but this man...
It did better than some of my videos, but I think it was because I had Mushoku Tensei in it. So.
Yeah, but this man became a Mushoku Tensei YouTuber.
Yeah.
So
I talk way too much.
So do you? I know you mentioned it. I don't know if you were joking or not, but like you mentioned, like you're doing it for the views. Like, is it something you actually like doing, or is it just something you're just doing because you're seeing numbers?
Well, if it was because
Or
of the
both.
numbers, honestly, if it was because of the numbers, I would have dropped it at volume 2. I wasn't after volume 1. It was like, oh, I'm not getting that many views. I am enjoying the story because it is like I can see why people like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it is not like people like say it's like the masterpiece. It's like one of the best things in the world.
Nah.
I just think it's a good story. There are just a lot of problems that prevent it, or there's just some problems that prevent me from saying it's the best. For example, like I said, Rudius is like the main thing of why it's not a masterpiece. I can't follow Rudius.
But doesn't
all
he
day.
doesn't he over time and as he grows up and as he gets better with that kind of stuff and kind of changes his ways throughout the series, no? When he gets older?
No, not really. Not really. Like,
Really?
yeah, I read past volume 1. I mean, season 1, and he's still the same guy. It's like seriously, like.
Well, what volume
It's
are
just-
you at, and what is it currently at?
So season 1 ended on volume 6, where, have you finished season 1?
I
don't wanna
finished.
spoil it.
I think there's a second season. I know I watched. Oh,
There's season 1, part 1, season.
I
two.
finished everything that came out in the anime for sure. I remember that.
Okay, so you've seen everything that
Yeah.
came out in the anime.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So season 1 ends. Season 1 ends on volume 6 after Eris and Rudius sleep together,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, so I gotta say right now, my favorite volume was season 7 because it was like the only time he actually didn't talk about sex. I was like, finally, a normal volume where this guy isn't talking about sex like it's a normal thing. Like he'd still talk about it, but it was like
He's calmed down though. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like throughout like the current serializing volumes of that series, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have said he's changed and like has calmed down at least on that kind of stuff.
Kinda. I'm only recent. I think he stopped because like currently now where I'm at and also where the anime is at, he's had his heart broken, and that eventually, like every time he thinks about that, it's like a trauma. So he tries not to think about it because he doesn't want to feel the trauma again. So I don't think he's just gotten better. It's just
because of that.
There's
I
something
understand.
yeah, it's because something's preventing him from actually wanting to think about it.
Right.
But
I understand.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, I don't see. I just don't like Rudius as a character.
well, I mean, to be honest, that sounds like me and my friends.
Well, that's probably why people like it, because maybe they actually relate to him.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? You and your friends?
Well, yeah, we talk about anything. So
Okay, see, I see what you're saying now. I mean, yeah, when
Yeah.
you're with a close group of friends, I mean, I feel the same way. And I talked about this on the podcast I do with my buddies and I. But
Yeah.
we kind of just during like you guys heard about the Seth the Programmer stuff, correct?
yeah,
Yes.
So a big thing about that is that like I think that something that goes across media that people don't really kind of see is that like everybody in their like close friend groups and stuff probably says a lot of things that people probably shouldn't say, but obviously like not to that level of degree of the stuff that he's done and said, but
Yeah.
people try to act very, very, very innocent, and it's like you're on the internet, like you've said some things you probably shouldn't have said. You shouldn't be like completely getting on this person for getting it. I'm not saying like the Seth stuff, like because he did a lot more things that kind of pushed that boundary of just like fucking around on Discord and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. A lot of people just kind of it's kind of funny to see the switch up in people when they know they say stuff, and it's like, come on, bro, like we're on the internet, people say some jokes here and there. It's like you don't need to take everything to heart.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying when I get what you're saying, Lion, when you say say anything with your friends. Like, I feel the same way with my close friends and I. Like, obviously we don't mean a lot of things, but we are respectful when it needs to be, and we can, you know, joke around when we also need to be.
Oh no.
So it's like there's a difference between the two.
Yeah. I mean, like I only like say anything with like real life friends, you know, like in person. Because then it's like, because you know, nobody's recording, nobody's saying anything, so everything is, you know, everything is going right. So, jeez.
I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take chances with saying anything like through podcast and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, there have been. I'm gonna keep it a buck. There have been times on my podcast so far. We're only 4 episodes in. Like we just started this like last month, and like I've already been like high on the podcast, like just saying kind of whatever. Like we say pretty much whatever that's like within within like our boundaries with YouTube. Well, the stuff we said in our first episode, like this is the podcast where we say anything that won't get us demonetized. Like that's pretty much how we're going with it, and I think that's just a better way, because back in the I'm not gonna say back in the day, but like a couple of years ago, like we had actually originally started the same podcast just without Mast, and it was just an anime only podcast. We were called the Anime After Hours, but then we realized after like 30 episodes or so, we were just kind of like, you know, like we like other things other than anime and manga. So we took a break for a while, and then now we had Mass hop on, and so now we're just going to be having a lot more fun with it, because I think that's what a podcast should be, is like a lot more fun and just being able to kind of have a chat with the boys, but for other people to listen to.
Yeah, I mean,
so like that's just kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, like I mean, like I like dance stories. That's like a big thing.
Yeah, mine has some crazy stories to tell.
I mean, yeah.
Are you talking about like IRL or like?
Yeah,
in real life.
Oh, okay.
We make fun of them. But, you know.
Are they appropriate for a podcast or no?
Yeah, it's like
I don't know.
I do.
I don't know.
It's not like I don't like talk about stuff that's like. It's not like so one of the stories I said is that it's like I like drunk stories, like high stories.
Okay, yeah, I feel you.
Stuff.
I know exactly where you're going with this. You don't have to, I know exactly. I get it. I understand.
The main thing that shocked Emma Bro was that I got high off of petrol.
Off what?
Because, dude, that can kill you, okay?
Wait, off of what?
Gasoline.
Gas.
Oh,
gas.
okay.
So he inhaled gasoline.
That was like
and
the biggest. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because that one, it was like, Lion being drunk and high is like, okay, do your thing. But gasoline, there's a reason people don't do that, and it's because it has killed people. Yeah. So I was.
I don't do any. Me personally, just to get the word out there, I don't do anything that's illegal, and I do everything within my state's, laws, and just to make sure everybody knows I'm not doing anything like. When I say I get high, I'm like, I'm doing weed. I'm smoking weed. Like, chill out. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stories I want to tell, but it's kind of like on that line. So.
I feel you. Yeah, I understand. I know exactly where you're going with everything. So.
But like
I get it.
To me personally, I think I can tell it. There's nothing wrong, but yeah.
No, yeah, you got to be careful sometimes because I don't know. A lot of people are like. It just really depends on how YouTube is and stuff, man. So I completely understand. You're welcome to share afterwards. If not, I like those kind of stories because I have my own kind of stories like that. Yeah. But it's just
like
so that's why I completely understand where you're going with it.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't mind like if I get like shit for a story, but like on the podcast, and that's gonna be like the whole podcast gonna go down.
Yeah. That'd be funny. Just off this one episode. My bad, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we got cancelled.
Shut down your podcast off one episode.
Go check us out on TikTok.
Oh, do you guys have a TikTok?
Yeah.
We recently do. It's better for our shorts.
Yeah,
Have you
kids.
found?
We're hoping
Have you
that-
found? Like, because we're still getting. I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to YouTube now. Like, I'm barely getting into how shorts work, and like, it feels like I'm old because like I have no idea how this works, and like I just started posting a couple shorts to my channel.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find better
Yeah.
ways to monetize like our podcast and stuff, and see how like if shorts will benefit the channel and stuff. Is it kind of like a TikTok kind of feed, like
Yeah.
where like a lot of the views are like, you know, huge numbers and likes are good, but like you don't really see like the same kind of different like kind of statistics from like a YouTube video views and likes versus like a TikTok video views and likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is different. Yeah. It's a little bit, but
When I checked the YouTube studio for our Radio Trigger channel, it actually showed the shorts first over just the official
Yeah.
videos. So I'm guessing it's like, it's like the same thing.
yeah, shorts. Because like I know you can make money off of the shorts,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like shorts are like a really good way to get views.
They
'cause-
just, I think
yeah.
they just implemented that for monetization for shorts, right?
yeah, but I think you need like, it was like 10 million views shorts or like a million view shorts to get monetized on that.
Oh, what? Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's a
I mean,
lot
that
of
would make
views.
sense just depending the. Well, you probably get a lot more views though from
Kind of.
that stuff. That makes sense.
I guess it's one of the things where it's like, I guess you just have to like study like, oh, well, what's the base tags and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a big thing with YouTube, and I've seen a lot of YouTubers nowadays. I mentioned Harsh before we started the podcast, and for those of you who don't know who are watching or listening to the podcast, that he's like a manga YouTuber that covers like mainly a lot of sports series, but he does other things as well, like Haikyuu and Blue Lock and
Yeah.
a lot of other things. But he, dang, what were we just talking about?
Shorts.
I just completely blanked out. Shorts, yeah.
Yeah.
The shorts.
Shorts.
The shorts. He was showing me like kind of how that kind of stuff kind of works these days, and like I think he's a good. He knows exactly like, oh, he doesn't use tags. My bad. No, that's what I was talking about.
Oh,
He doesn't
really?
use tags in any of his videos, but he gets like hundreds of thousands of views.
Jeez.
And he just says for some people that like works because that works for him. I'm so sorry. I completely blanked out what I was talking about. Like it just like completely went away. But then it came back. I was like, no, wait, I'm not talking about shorts. And then like, no, I'm talking about the tags. So the tags, just in videos in general, I've seen a lot of people say that the more tags on the topic works, and I've seen people that use absolutely zero tags that get the same amount of views, if not more. And he's a perfect example of that, where he puts zero tags in any of his videos, but they all perform very, very well.
Jeez.
So it's like YouTube is honestly, it is a luck game. Because currently right now, I'm not afraid to admit it, but like I'm out of my prime. Like I'm completely out of my prime from what I used to be like back during quarantine. But that's just because of the fact that I realized the content I want to do is something that takes a lot more time and it takes a lot more energy.
Yeah.
It may not perform as well, but it's something I personally want to do. I'd rather do that than get more views and, you know, talk about something I don't really care about as much. And with YouTube and just uploading videos on the channel, it's like you have to take that gamble if you want to see yourself improve later on down the line. And with YouTube, it's important to remember that you need to upload things that you're very much passionate about, but you also need to upload things that are going to perform well on the channel. You need to kind of find that balance of both, as well as being able to find a love for both. For example, like examples like Attack on Titan is like my second favorite series of all time, and the anime is coming right around the corner. So it'd probably be very smart and strategically to make a video talking about that and like kind of like what to expect or just whatever. I'm just throwing out an idea out there.
Yeah.
around that kind of time, because that video will probably perform well because it's a popular topic. But
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
at this current moment, I don't want to talk about it just because I have other things in mind. But hypothetically, it would be smart for the channel to do something like that. So essentially, you just got to find that balance of both if you want to see YouTube as more than just, it's kind of like a hobby. I said it's a hobby, but it's kind of like also a competition in a way when you see your peers. And I'm a very competitive person. So when I see my peers doing a little bit
Yeah.
better, it's not that I get jealous. It's more that like I want to strive to do better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how a lot of us kind of work together. We share ideas. We, share concepts and share thumbnails and what we're trying to do, and we kind of just help each other out. And that's kind of like how I see our community, at least on like Twitter and like certain discords and stuff. A lot of people try to do their best to help each other out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for the main, because I've been doing YouTube now for like almost 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think like finally like got to a point where I'm like getting like good views on like every video.
Mm-hmm.
But now I do want to try and like just do like one video a month. Like for like the main channel, like one video a month. That's like really good editing. And then on the second channel, just do like basic editing, but then just do more uploads on that one.
So I see that you have 3 channels, one for plays, one for your anime, and the other one for talks. And that one has the most subscribers but 0 videos.
does.
Is that something you were uploading before you did your anime stuff?
Yeah, that was the first channel I created back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And it was originally a gaming channel, so I did a lot of gaming videos on that one. But yeah, there was some drama, and then that just killed off the channel.
How long have you been doing the anime stuff for?
Yeah, like just fully focused on anime since last year.
Okay, so it's been like about a year.
Yeah.
I guess like just like while we're talking about on the topic about this, and why I'm looking at some of your videos and stuff, is that like I think your 4 recent videos in terms of thumbnails have been improved a lot more from everything below, which is something I like. Thumbnails for me is like the key thing, and it's something like that sticks out to me. I'm very precise on how I want those things.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, the Junior Into one's really, really good. That one's probably my favorite. But like, you definitely improved a lot. I think when it comes to like titling and stuff, it definitely could use like some work.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, your videos are like pretty long, and they look like you do a lot of editing within them. So I have no issue with that. And it's just really about like finding the right tags to use, and like, but again, YouTube's also a luck game. There is luck in it, and if someone tells you there's no luck involved with YouTube, they're lying to you, because YouTube, there is a luck factor with it. There's also a huge skill factor with it, but I think it's like a lot of people give like a different answer, but for me, I'd personally say it's like a 50-50. 50% learning, researching, taking time to make sure perfect your craft, and the other 50% is all on YouTube's end with the luck and how you get pushed into the algorithm. Because there are certain people that will get pushed for just nothing, and it's like it makes you feel like what you're doing is wrong, or you need to do something like them, but in reality it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got to a point because I had like this, like I think it was for like 6 videos straight where I just couldn't get over 50 views, and I don't know why. And I was like, I'm doing the same editing style. I think I'm doing, but it's quite good. And I got to a point where it's like, geez, let me just talk about a popular anime. So I was like, you know what, let's just do Blue Lock, and then that one finally got like over 100 views. Jeez, when I see like
that's what I was saying though. Like, you need to, like, you were talking about the things you wanted to talk about, and then you're like, damn, these videos aren't getting like more than 50 views. Let me talk about something that's popular. Boom, right there. Like, but it's also
Yeah.
something I'm assuming that you either enjoyed or just, I mean, judging by the title,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Because, like, I mean, clickbait also, if people get mad at clickbait and stuff too, that's also another topic.
Hmm.
People really need to chill out about clickbait because clickbait is not what everybody thinks. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like if you click on it and you watch it and you enjoy the video, but it's not exactly what the title meant, then what you just did worked. It worked for you, and it
Yeah.
worked because
Yeah.
the audience clicked on the video and they enjoyed the video.
Yeah. I mean,
Whereas, like,
it's-
sometimes you'll get the
Yeah.
the odd one out, and they'll be like, your video's clickbait or something like that. It's like, duh, but you still clicked on it. Like, you still did what was intended.
yeah.
And you're giving.
Yeah.
It's actually, I don't know if it's the same anymore, but because they removed the dislike option. But I know that's just kind of like invisible. The dislikes are still there. But
Right.
before, dislikes actually were a lot more key than likes. Dislikes and engagement, because YouTube doesn't care about likes and dislikes and comments and stuff. They care, well, they do, but in the sense they care about engagement. And a dislike is kind of like a one-up from a like, because nobody usually goes out their way to dislike a video. You know what I mean? Unless you really just that's just me personally, but like I don't think anybody really goes out their way to dislike a video unless it's something that's like really trending right now, or like back in the day, like, well, not back in the day, but like a couple years ago when like YouTube did that YouTube
Yeah.
rewind, everybody was disliking that
Oh,
video
yeah.
just to make it the most disliked thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's stuff like that, but YouTube really cares about engagement, and if you engage, it's gonna push your video forward. So when people kind of like try to talk back and forth about clickbait and stuff, it's like you really just don't need to pay attention to that because it's working for you, and
Yeah.
it's something that's like, I don't know, it just works. So
Yeah.
just keep doing it if it works.
I mean, yeah, because I got an editor for myself now for the new video I'm working on. And the main thing I want to try and improve is the average view duration. Because I saw there's a friend of ours, he did a video and then his average view duration got to like 5 minutes, I believe. And that video went from like 1K to like 6K in like 2 days. So I was like, you know what? Let me try that shit. Let me try it. So yeah, we'll see if the editing is gonna help or not a little bit.
That's what I've been doing recently from my videos personally. I haven't actually had the time since quarantine to really do a lot of the editing, because back when I first started my channel, I first started in 2020. That was like the whole reason I started my channel was kind of like because it was a 2020 air quotes new resolution. I've always wanted to do
Yeah.
YouTube, but I didn't know what I wanted to do YouTube on.
Right.
So at the time, I was most passionate about anime and manga. So I was like, why not find something people that will get views, but also people will find myself entertaining. And at the time, a big thing that was going on, and it's still a pretty good big thing going on now, but at the time it was a lot more bigger, but was like reactions. So I initially started my channel, the channel that I have everything on right now, with like myself reacting to current anime episodes. And from the jump, because I released it when the episode came out, those videos would get like thousands of plus views. Like from the jump, my first ever video got like 10,000 views.
Jeez.
And on that channel, yeah. And it was a reaction to some anime. But later on down the line, I realized I don't really want to do reactions anymore. I kind of want to get more into discussions. So then I moved forward into like kind of the stuff I talk about now. And then I realized that like Weekly Shonen Jump at the time was a big thing, just because of all the new series coming out. Jujutsu Kaisen was popping, Chainsaw Man was popping, still in the magazine. A lot of these newer series were coming up. My Hero obviously was still popping, and I just kept talking about that. You know, a few months later, Bleach got announced to return, and that's kind of like where I got my big break, which was like one of my biggest videos on the channel was like how the return of Bleach changed anime. So then from there on, I kind of milked it, and then I realized, well, this is not something I want to do for me, but because it's performing well, it was smart to keep capitalizing on it. But I didn't capitalize it on it the right way. And it's kind of like a learning process just with YouTube in general, learning what works, what doesn't over time.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you're going to get better at it. The more you get discouraged at it, the more you're going to get worse at it or just stagnant with it. You kind of just have to find that balance between both, because you are going to get burnout. You are going to get like a lack of interest for things you're talking about. But if you want to switch things up, you have to do it. You have to do your research, and you have to figure out like what's going to work for the channel moving forward. And again, that 50% can go in. You can put in all that work, but again, YouTube also has to, you know, you could do everything right, but YouTube won't give you that other 50%. And that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah.
Because eventually, if you keep doing everything right, you probably will hit, but some just got, you know, hit the jackpot before others. So it's like kind of, it's a really weird kind of game that once you get the ball rolling on exactly what you want to do, capitalize on that. But if you get the ball rolling on something you're kind of like iffy about, that can really hurt your channel and more or less just kind of your overall motivation for like how you view things. And I've had a few kind of ups and downs, but I've learned over time now that like right now I'm kind of at a low point, but being at a low point is very important, because this is the time where you can like prep and you can like get things done. And within like the last couple months is when I've really just been trying my best to work on my craft and work on the videos I really want to do and the things I really want to talk about, so that those videos can build up over time. And when I do hit, you know, if I do get back into that rhythm, I'll have those videos building up over time. So it's really just, again, you gotta structure things out how you want it. If you want to, I mean, again, you can also do whatever you want, but I'm just saying for someone that wants to improve on YouTube, someone that actually takes it as a hobby and wants to get better at, it's a good thing to look at for all those things I just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do feel like just the longer you do it, just the more you get like, I guess, you know what to do. Yeah. Which will take a while.
And even if you don't know what to do, just at the very start, even if you don't know what to do, just start. Just do something. Because eventually, when you keep doing something, you are gonna figure out what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are kind of discouraged to start YouTube channels. Like I have a lot of friends, like IRL friends and just friends online. They kind of ask me like, how do you do it? Like, how do you start? And like, I just said, like, I just started. Like it was a New Year's air quote resolution. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I liked anime and manga. So I just decided to do something. The first thing that came to my mind that I was going to enjoy at the time and also get views. Did that and then moved from there. That's just how I think everybody should. Well, everybody has their own ways of doing it, but I think that was a successful way to do it. If they don't know how to do it, they can do it like that.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I wish I could like just go like have some like a vacation. Jeez, just like a nice weekend, like away
from YouTube or away from just like, what do you mean?
Yeah, because like I don't know, it's like I don't know. Just the reason why I got like the editor for my new video is because I just didn't feel like editing at all. Because like
I mean like, that occurs, yeah.
Yeah, because I have like 6 podcast episodes to edit, so I have a few.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at that point, it's just like finding a balance. Like you need to, at the end of the day, you need to do what's best for yourself and your channel and stuff. The podcast, again, it's like the reason like we started one is because we already knew we were established and stuff. And when you guys told me that you guys were just like, oh, let's start a podcast, that to me, like it came off as like, you know, do what you want, but like giving constructive criticism, it's like you need to make sure you guys are all established or at least all have a plan before you get into it. Kind of thing. Again, you can just do it for fun. So anything I'm saying, you can just throw out the window if you want to. But I'm just saying for like improvement and stuff like that, that's just kind of like how my mindset works with that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah. So I'm getting so much into it when people like when I talk about YouTube, like like I get really like into it. Like I
That's
like
fine.
to go super in depth for just
No,
that kind of
no,
stuff.
that's fine.
I mean, like to me,
Um,
it's just one of my like goals. I don't know. To me, I just don't really care if I make it on YouTube or not. It's not like one of my goals.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the biggest thing is just moving right now. That's
No, that makes complete sense. I mean, yeah, you have your own thing. Everybody's got their own things going on, things that like alter with how they want to do videos and do podcasts and whatnot. So I completely understand everybody's like where they come from and stuff like that. And even if it's not like the biggest passion for you, it's just something that you do for fun. Do it for fun, man. Do it how you want to do it.
all right. He's dead.
Did he just die? Did he just disappear?
I think he's dead. All right. Let's see. How about we get to like a little bit stories? Do you have like any stories you want to tell? That's not like obviously over the line.
Something safe for work. Off the top of my head.
It doesn't have to be safe to work, but just not like. Yeah.
Nothing too extreme. I got you. Something that won't get us your channel taken down.
Sure.
I mean, like, I guess a big thing is like kind of similar to YouTube, but kind of off the side, is that like I started the people that I do a podcast with, like I've actually like met a lot of my online friends and stuff, and I've been on like multiple different kind of trips and stuff, like across the country, in the US, and just like kind of met like my fellow creators and stuff and how like their minds work and stuff. It's honestly like one of the big like most fun experiences to kind of have. Just it's very odd because like you talk to these people for so long and then you like kind of meet them and
weird.
It's weird for like you would think it's weird for a while, but it's actually very weird for like a couple minutes, and then it becomes very natural. Like if you're on call, even if you've never seen their face before, it becomes very natural just because you know how their personality is, and it really doesn't matter what they look like or how their body language is. Just like they're like the way they speak. It's just like it felt very comfortable, and traveling for me is just a really, really big thing I want to do. Like just throughout my entire life, I really just want to travel. So being able to do that while meeting people that have the same kind of passion for me, because like growing up in school and stuff and like in college and whatnot, like you're kind of just thrown into the area where, you know, the people around you are closest to. Like everybody goes to school because that's the closest school to you, or it's like a school near you, but not because you have the same interests and stuff, unless you get into like in-depth college courses and stuff like that. But like meeting people that have the same interest as you and like kind of have the same mindset, and meeting them for the first time, like if you're kind of going to the first day of school, it felt really just different and very unique. And I think that's why like nowadays, like I've been offered to go to like some certain conventions and stuff, and throughout this year I'll be going to a lot more cons, like Anime Expo, like DreamCon, just a bunch of few cons that are around the States that people have asked me to go to, or just like I've been invited to, just for like to talk about the channel and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing throughout the year. And I at first, like the last year, like when, again, because quarantine was a big thing and everybody was inside. So like before, it was like I didn't think about those kind of possibilities, but now, since things are starting to kind of go back to normal, it feels a lot more. It feels different, but it's a good different, and I just think that kind of stuff is cool. So if you ever have like online friends and stuff, it's really cool to kind of meet them and talk about your same interests and stuff.
I would love to interview these guys.
Hold on. I got something to do. I'll be back. It's just I have something to do, and it requires me to actually be away from the mic.
That's fine.
Would you guys just want to end off here? Kind of like end on the note. We've been going for like an hour and 15.
Or if you want to.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's me. Sorry. So I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. And also thank you to our viewers for actually being here. Honestly, this has been the AG podcast. He's been carrying this thing.
AG. My name is pronounced Augie.
Sorry.
You're good.
Miss that goes AG.
I've never heard it like that. Good.
I say names differently.
I've been running off a little bit of caffeine this morning, man. I woke up pretty early, but I wanted to be on time for you guys because I know you guys wanted to do things early. So I appreciate you for having me on. I really do.
Yeah, and also sorry for saying your name wrong.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for watching this video to the very end. If you really enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe, and also just check out Aggie's channel. I said it right.
You can just keep calling me that. That's fine.
Okay, whatever.
All right.
Just check out this guy's channel. You know, if you like our stuff, you're most likely gonna like his stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.